Wow, well, no shortage of things to talk about in the English Premier League this weekend, Andy. Chelsea, iffy for 45 minutes, but Jose Mourinho sorted all that out. Arsenal storming comeback, which will have pleased Jose Mourinho. Manchester United probably didn't convince us that they're anything better than 6th or 7th right now. But Angel Di Maria, can he change all of that?
Well, he can go away towards changing it. He's a quality footballer. He's not the top bracket. He's not the Suarez, the Messi, the Ronaldo, the Bale level, but he's the second level below that. So he's a quality footballer, and that's what United need to get in. They haven't bought anyone like that since they sold Ronaldo. So that's got to be a positive for Louis van Gaal and for Manchester United fans. But he alone is not going to transform United from a team that finished 7th last year to a team that could possibly finish in the top 4 and possibly win the title. He's going to need a lot more help than that.
What is he going to bring to Manchester United? Is he going to be somebody now that Van Gaal has to fit in by altering this 3-5-2 he's worked on all of the pre-season? Or does he slip comfortably into what it is that the manager is trying to achieve within that system?
I don't think he slips comfortably into 3-5-2. I really don't. It would mean that he'd have to be hugely adventurous in the centre of midfield by playing, say, Ander Herrera as a holding midfield player, and then play Mata and Di Maria. Now, that would be a gamble at this level at the moment, because with Di Maria and with Mata, would he have enough going back the way defensively? I just wonder about that. He might try it though, and he might have a little go at it and see if that works. I don't see him being a wing back. So I don't know whether Richard, if he's got Rojo, who's coming back in as a left-sided centre-back, if he feels eventually he's got 2 centre-backs he can trust, it wouldn't surprise me if he goes back to a 4, and whether it's a 3-3 or it's a 4-4, 1-off-1. But that kind of system would fit Di Maria better. But it might upset a Rooney or a Mata or a Van Persie, because I don't think if he switches to a 4-3-3, for instance, he could play everybody.
Balotelli at 16 million. You speak to any Liverpool supporter, he'll tell you it's a gamble worth taking. Speak to any ex-professional and they'll tell you it's an expensive 16 million. Which side of the line are you on?
Well, I'm a football fan and I'm an ex-professional, and I'm caught somewhere in between. Brendan Rodgers definitely needs some players at the top end. He has Ricky Lambert, but if something happened to Sturridge, could Ricky carry the can on his own and keep them going into another Champions League place, or help them go one better than they were last year and actually win the league? I don't think he could. So Brendan's had a good think about it. He's probably talking to his staff and he said, we need to get someone in. I'm sure they've tried others. I'm positive they've tried others. And Balotelli wouldn't have been on the radar to start with, because it's 2 weeks to go to the transfer window closes, and suddenly he pops up on Brendan's radar. A player who Brendan said 4 weeks ago he wouldn't take to Anfield. But needs must, and sometimes as a coach you have to bite your lip and say, okay, I'm buying for 16 million, a hugely talented football, mercurial, we know that, and might cause me trouble, but I'm going to take a chance that he won't, and it's worth the 16 million.
Quick word on those teams creating headlines this weekend. Everton 2 up against Arsenal. It looks all too familiar for the Gunners, but they did get a 2-2 out of it. Are they stronger, and is there a challenge in them?
Well, they're stronger, and I think there's a challenge in them. They were 7 points short last year, and I think they can be a lot closer than 7 points. They threw away so many points, they lost so many players from injury last season. If they don't do that this season, they're bound to be closer, in my opinion. And I think what we saw at the weekend was a side who, at 2-0 down, could have gone under. With all the pressure that's been on them, all the quotes that they can't do it against the big teams away from home. Here was the first chance. And with 10 minutes to go, they were 2-0 down. I didn't see the comeback, I have to be honest. I didn't see it. But from somewhere, they dragged it out of them. No surprise who the goal scorers are for me. Ramsey, who was a big miss for them when he went out of the team last season for a long time. And Giroud, who, as I've said time and time again, if we're talking Premier League, this guy will get them goals. So it was a big statement to make, and I think they'll take tremendous confidence from that.
And Spurs lead the way. Chelsea, I don't think we need to spend too much time talking about. They're providing what we thought really eventually at the weekend. But Spurs lead, and they're scoring plenty of goals. Have they had an easy start? Are we seeing the best of them? Is there more to come? Is there a challenge in them?
Well, I don't see why there shouldn't be. Listen, West Ham was a tricky opening. Of course it was at Upton Park, but they got through it. played a lot of the game with 10 men, but was still able to nick a 1-0. Coming up against QPR, who look way short at the moment, looked all over the place, but it's one thing to play against a bad side, it's another to dismantle them in the way they did, and they did it clinically, which is what I liked about them. I still think Adebayor is a bit of a luxury for me. If they could get a genuine front man, I would really fancy their chances of going very, very close to clinching a top 4. Look at the group of players that they have. It's strong, it's deep. They can lose a player from a position and transfer another one straight in. So there's every reason for Pochettino, for Tottenham fans and for Tottenham players to think this could be a very good season for them.
And finally, City or Liverpool?
City for me tomorrow. I think home advantage in the big games. Not always, but it's a big thing for me, and I think City will want to give their fans, with their first home game at the Etihad, something to cheer about. Liverpool made them work really hard last year and were very unlucky, but Liverpool just don't look at it just yet for me, so I'm going to go for a narrow City win.
Coverage, Sean B in Sports, of course, and Andy will show you where Di Maria is going to fit in at Manchester United. There you go, there's a challenge.